just introduce this sector to you, right? There's what we call, as this phenomenon we call climate change. So climate change is literally trying to tell us that things are changing, right? Like let's say 50 years ago, when we are just, we are still trying to explore fossil fuel in Nigeria or Africa or some countries, maybe Saudi Arabia and all. We are using normal brick and mortar models to generate energy, right? So we have other models. We use horses, we use animals, we use a lot of things to move our turbines, to fetch water and stuff like that. So along the line, we discovered fossil fuel, right? And this is not a shade to fossil fuel guys, right? Because I'm sure there's a little bit of political argument on that. But we discovered fossil fuel and it was quite affordable, accessible. In fact, it was just there. You just dig a well or something. I've seen a lot of fossil fuel, and that's energy in its raw form, right? So we started begin to explore that, and countries and government began to explore that because they had it in abundance. Just like Nigeria, we had a lot of fossil fuel in the south side and all. Then along the line, we got to realize that, wow, okay, we're getting this energy, we're getting this solution because it's readily available, but it's also having its side effects, right? There are side effects that this is causing us. And let's begin to measure the side effects. Let's be sure that we can actually deal with this. Then they began to, search this out and all, and they found out that countries like USA and big countries that have huge population are actually enjoying more of this fossil fuel, but the side effect of this fossil fuel, whatever, is going to affect everybody generally. So it's just like you're with your friend and they give you a ration of food, maybe, right? And you're eating a very little amount and your friend is eating a huge amount. Like, yes. By the end of the day, both of you are going to wash the whole plate. Hey, you get it? So we are disadvantaged because we're not even using it well. In Nigeria, we don't even have electricity 24/7 as some African countries. But everybody will face the issue of climate change. Right? So we have to begin to look into how we can help. So on the morality side or ethical side, big countries like USA that are consuming all this energy and all have to look at it. Okay, how can we come together and also accelerate this transition to using cleaner energy and all. So that's where we're going to be talking about. We're talking about how it affects other. And also Nigeria, of course, we know majority of us here are from Nigeria, right? And we're here listening to this call from Nigeria. We have about 90 million people off the grid. 90 million. Do you know what 90 million is? That's 1,000 people times 1,000 people. That's a million. Is it? Yeah, a million. Then you have 90 in 90 times. So if you have a million people packed in a space, that's huge. In fact, stadiums that are filled up by musicians, they're not up to a million. There may be 30,000 stadium, individuals. Now imagine multiplying that and you get to 90 million people. Now the question is, with the rate we are going, how can we give these people access to power or give these people access to energy? Because everybody needs energy. We are having this call right now. I'm on my laptop. I have my two phones with me. I have my lighting. Everything has to be on. If not, you're not going to do anything. So you want to do remote work, you need power, you need energy. You want to cook, you need energy in terms of heat, right? Perhaps if you burn firewood, that firewood heat is energy, right? So energy is not necessarily just electricity. It's literally about anything that can do work, something that can actually cause a change in matter and all. So because of this, we're beginning to see jobs and innovation, coming out. Right? Innovation thrives in scarcity. Innovation thrives in chaos. If there's no chaos, there's no point in innovating. That's why a lot of people outside the country, they're very lazy because everything's done, like literally everything has been done for them, right? I was in Finland last year and I was speaking with some students in Aalto University, one of the best universities in the world. So I was speaking to some students, computer science and stuff. I was asking them, what's your goal after school? They said, I just want to get a job and they just do my stuff. And I asked a lot of people, as regards that, they said, yes, just want to get a job. They're not even looking for high-paying jobs, just something basic. The reason is because the government is taking care of them. Everything is working well for them. So, but in chaotic situations like Africa and all, opportunities come for us to we have to start bringing out innovations because, and job creation, there are no jobs, right? So because there are no jobs, how can we key into creating more jobs? This is creating a job, right, for us. So how can we key in? Because this job exists. As I speak today, there are a lot of jobs, thousands of jobs available. But if you're not aware of this, it's just like blinking in the dark, right? So the jobs are there, but you can't access it. So we're talking about that. Okay. So green tech straight up. It's more about reducing environmental impact. Okay. So anything you can do that reduces environmental impact of energy, heat, whatever, right? Cutting down of trees, anything that actually affects the environment. That's why we have the environmental impact assessment thing that is always done when you want to have a project. Let's say, for instance, you want to set up a filling station, or you want to set up a plant. We have the EIA guys that will go there and measure the impact of what you're going to do on the environment, right? And that's the field you can also explore. Talk about that too, right? So anything you're doing that actually reduce the impact on the environment is what? The green tech sector. So you look at your field, look at where you're working at. Are you reducing the usage of things that affect the environment, whatever, then that's the sector. So just need to look at that. So I will talk about different areas like renewable energy, that's clean energy. The popular one is solar, right? In Africa, because we are the sunniest continent in the world. Then we have transport, that's clean mobility. Okay. Now fuel is very costly, so we're looking at having clean or electric vehicles and stuff. We have waste management, right? If you go to landfill sites, there's the data that posits the rate of impact waste has on the environment is 23 times than CO2. So when you go to a landfill site, that's CH3, that's the ammonia, what I call it, methane gas that is emitted from that waste, that dung site, right, is 23 times more hazardous, right, than CO2. So everybody's looking at CO2 now, but that part is also important. So when you go along the road, you see waste dump site that we're smelling and all, that is a problem. And if you can get a solution that solves that problem, that's the green tech sector there. Okay, so we have a lot of them. Smart grids, EV and stuff. So let's look at the market and see how you can play. Okay, so for $9.2 billion annually is in an energy market, just energy market in Nigeria, Nigeria's energy market. Okay, what does that mean when you talk about 9.2 billion? Is it just words? So it means you have the opportunity to make up to 9.2 billion if you're solving 100% of our what of grid energy market. If you are the one, we say you own 100% of market share, you can make it 9.2 billion. Of course, you can't be 100%, So let's say you pick like 4% of it. So you can make 4% of this amount of money yearly if you gain well, right? And it's growing. You get it? Because the market grows. But 5 million children are being born in Nigeria every year. So each of those children must use their phone, must bathe hot water, they must soak, because energy usage will be high. All right, Africa Development Bank, right? They're also investing billions. I think World Bank have committed about $1.2 trillion to energy in Africa, right? We have organizations, and we have like Germany also investing into Nigeria and Africa, right? Into the energy landscape. Of course, they have interests, okay? But like they're pouring a lot of money. So there's a lot of money for you to access, right? ECOWAS is there. I've been part of some, I've been able to get access to some of them, which you also share. So the carbon market is also on that thing. So there's something called carbon credits and carbon market. I don't know if you've heard about that before. If you've heard about it, just do a thumbs up in the comments. Let me see. So carbon credits is more like even if you decide to, you say, okay, I want to solve this problem of the of this environmental degradation, right? And I don't know how to make money off it. There's what we call carbon credit for you. So what it means is that you don't necessarily need to be a business person. You just need to solve a problem of reducing the impact of what we do in the environment. So let's say, for instance, you're eliminating waste pollution. You're trying to solve this waste pollution. If you can show us a metric of what you've been able to eliminate, all right, and reduce all those hazardous influence on the environment. Oil companies or companies that are actually generating that waste are mandated to pay for it. A lot of people don't know about this, but yes. And interestingly, in Nigeria, the government is about to put a bill into the carbon market. So if you are wise enough, you can get into the sector. I have a friend that I've been working on this for years, and I'm very excited for him when I heard government is beginning to look into the sector. So what it means is that you can be doing an activity that reduces the impact of whatever things we do on the environment. Maybe, for instance, someone is driving a car and it's emitting CO2 into the atmosphere, and you have a technology that can help reduce the way CO2 is being emitted. And you can measure it. You can have a metric to measure it. Those people making those fuel or whatever are mandated to pay what we call carbon credits. So carbon credits is just like airtime, it's just like permission to affect the environment. So let's say, for instance, just like a fine. So let's say you want to flare gas. You have an oil company or whatever gas plant or whatever. You need to flare gas. You need to have credits to do that. Okay, so where did they buy this credit? They buy the credits from people who help, eliminate those things. So it's a sector that is interesting. And to shock you, I don't know if you heard of Tesla Motors, right? Founded by, not founded anyway. The CEO of Tesla is Elon Musk, right? They made about $1.4 billion last year on carbon credits. What it means is pure profit. They did not manufacture anything just because they were able to measure that, we have cars on the road that have eliminated so number of CO2. So instead of using 10 million carbon exhaust cars and stuff, using electric cars. So we've eliminated this, they made to measure it. They sell these credits to those people actually doing the other opposite, and they make it. So they made $1.4 billion pure profit. So just get to understand that this sector is booming and very huge. So where are the jobs really? So one thing is we start from the lowest hanging fruit for now. One thing about growth is you don't climb the ladder from the top, right? You climb from where you can get to. So the question is, you have to look around you. Where are the opportunities around you first? Then you grow. Okay. So for instance, now I have a goal of, tomorrow I want to build a company that can be acquired by Elon Musk or something. And just build a company and start sending Elon Musk messages. Say, please, I've built something amazing. Let's partner. Let's know. You have to look around. Okay, what solutions can I solve here? Now, we'll actually be attracted to those around first before I go to the next level. So why am I saying this? You don't just look for jobs that you just see online. You go online, you see a lot of people advertising. You can come to the US and making $50,000 monthly. I don't know that kind of job I do, but you see a lot of people advertising a lot of things and all. You don't just subscribe to that. You start somewhere and you see a pathway that leads you to that place. So what does that mean? What are the current jobs or job opportunities like that are available in Nigeria? We have solar energy. Okay. There's this data about the importation of. We have about last year 3 million solar panels were imported to Nigeria. These are one of the reasons why the government is trying to ban importation, but of course it's a dicey situation, so there are more details in that. But we import millions of solar panels yearly. So are they going to stay in the store or they're going to be installed somewhere? So they're going to be installed somewhere. So who are those to install it? Where are they? How many skilled workers do we have to install this? Right? We have in fact, as a company, we have situations where we are looking for people in different states to help us install solar systems. Okay, to help us do auditing, do some basic things and all, because we're not physically present in that state, right? So if we have people that are skilled in that, of course, that's automatic. That's job on its own. So designing, installing, and maintaining also important. So it's not just design. Are you trying to say something? Please, am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, I think someone is.
I think you can ignore. So I think it was an error. You can ignore.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So
Hi, Gift. Hi, Gift. How are you? Hi, Gift. How are you? This is Mrs. Chukuma speaking.
Okay, I'm good, ma'am. Thank you.
Good. Sorry about that. I think someone did not mute themselves and we were hearing what they were saying. Please, can we all mute us? Please, can we all mute ourselves, please, so that we don't interfere with the presentation being made by Gift. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Gift, please go ahead.
All right. So now for these solar systems and solar installations around, so we need people who can actually design, install, and maintain. Now, beyond this designing the system, right? There are people that have the sole job of just designing. You know how to use your, you can use your Excel sheets anyway. Like for instance, for our staff, I was able to design an Excel template where they can just input data on the load requirements and calculate the kind of solar system you need, right? So there are people that can design that, and if that's your core job, you can do that. So in big corporations and big companies, they actually segregate this type of job roles. So a single person is not going to design, install, or maintain. There are people who are meant to do design, right? There are people who are going to do installation, okay? And to each job, of course, it has its own compensations and all, and it has maintenance. So what it means is this: let's say we have 1 million solar installations in Nigeria as we speak. 1 million is maintenance is needed at a point in the life cycle of these systems. Okay, and let's say, for instance, when you do your installation, you have a contract of maintaining this for maybe 6 months or a year, and after that year, whatever ongoing maintenance you have to do, you have to charge a little for it, right? There are people that you don't necessarily need to be the ones to do that. You can get people who actually need to maintain it, and if you have the knowledge, you can do that. Right. Now, battery and storage, of course. We have different type of batteries. We have lithium batteries, lead acid batteries, and a lot of batteries in the market. Right? And so because actually battery is actually peculiar to Africa more because we don't really have grid electricity. Abroad, they are mostly on the solar panel side because they have grid electricity to make up in the night time. So we need batteries for when there is no sun power or during the night time, right? So in Africa, we need the batteries and storage. So we need people who knows how to maintain battery systems. So let's say, for instance, microgrids and mini grids in rural communities and stuff, where you install arrays of say up to 500 batteries, right? If you invest about $500,000 to set up a big solar plant, you will not want to joke with maintaining those things and storage. And there are these installations in the country. We have a lot of microgrids and mini grids in Nigeria as we speak, and they need people who can maintain storage of the system so that they don't go to waste. So people are willing to pay $5,000, whatever amount, yearly, monthly, as the case may be, to be able to maintain their system because you know the investments there is huge. To get to know that. Then green construction, the construction that actually help reduce the effects of whatever pollution in the atmosphere. Let's say, for instance, there are houses now that are created in such a way that you don't necessarily need to have all your ACs on, because they have a kind of they are created in such a way that there is ventilation enough that you need little electrical usage, electricity usage. So let's say on their roof they have vents, they have a lot of vents and stuff. So not everybody can build this kind of thing. You can sit down, maybe an architect or something, and niche down on construction of buildings and set up structures that actually reduces the need for energy, high energy. There's the kind of building you build, you would need tough ACs, like not just small ACs. You need to be emitting heat all the time, right? But there are some buildings you have to just use less. So that's good construction, and that's a sector by Skidden. There are buildings also that actually have paintings, right? Maybe you're in the painting sector. I'm just trying to tell you and open your mind that you mustn't necessarily be in say, okay, I'm a solar engineer. No, you can actually be in your field, but you have a way you niche yourself in such a way that you're also tapping from the opportunity in this sector. So you do painting. Do you know that currently there are paintings that actually absorb CO2 from the atmosphere? So imagine you build a house and your painting actually absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you actually can convert that into carbon credits and make money from your building. So this is amazing, right? So if you can look into this sector, there are myriad of opportunities for you there. Of course, electric mobility. So I just want to be key on the important ones that are core for Nigeria at the moment, right? Of course, other ones abroad, other African countries are good. For Nigeria, we have solar, the battery storage, and also the electric mobility. Now, I'm sure you can remember maybe 2 years ago, if you want to take a public transport from point A to point B, it might cost you like 300 naira, 150. But right now, it's almost double the price, right? Why? It's affecting us because the cost of fuel has increased, right? So they're looking at it. If I'm buying fuel for like 200 naira before, now it's 950 naira. I have to increase the cost of transporting it. And so we are beginning to look at how can we have clean mobility, clean cars, clean vehicles. Now, we want to delve into that. You're not going to be interested in building clean, right? There are only a few people in Nigeria that may be able to buy those things. You're looking at the market.
Hello, Gift.
All right. Yeah.
Gift, hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry to interject you.
Can I go on?
Yes, please go on. Yes, please go on. Thank you.
Beautiful. Fine. So the core thing is to be able to look for what opportunities are around the markets you're approaching. Okay. So Nigeria, for instance, we have this issue of clean mobility. So if you can build and work within that sector, you look at you're looking for people into construction. Let's say, for instance, you have an experience with construction. You know how to build structures, you know how to weld, you know, all this kind of thing. You can begin to build. Currently, we're even looking for people who are skilled in building body structures for vehicles because we're trying to also explore clean mobility, right? We have the battery technology, we have the electrical stuff, but structure of building that system, you can't start building that style. So imagine you have a skill set in that. You can just key in. It's okay. I've been building this type of structures before. Now let me start building portable vehicles, portable bikes, portable structures to just move something from point A to point B. Let's say, for instance, in Nigeria, we don't necessarily need cars. The major things that even increase the cost of goods is the cost of transportation, cost of way bill, cost of stuff, right? Can we begin to build vehicles that are just specially designed for moving goods from the market? So your apple that was how much before is now double the price. It's because the cost of moving it from point A to point B is high. Can you begin to build something that's okay from the market to your house, from market to this? You would see that that field has not been untapped at all. And you can indirectly, with that action, right, begin to reduce the cost of these things in the market. And of course, you see the effect it's having, it's going to have at the end of the day. So you need to look at that. So which red spots and hot spots, right? Innovations are we going to look at for? So let's say, for instance, you want to begin to learn, you're learning a tech skill, for instance, you're learning web development, front end, back end, and stuff like that. How can you align this and begin to innovate around stuff like this? Smart energy management, that's number one. So you're looking at AI, IoT now. AI is now what is in vogue. Almost everything we're doing is AI, right? How can you begin to adapt AI into smart energy management? For instance, at Greenera, we have microgrids where we install systems for plazas, and they use the power, right? They use the power just like they use prepaid meter and all. And we smart meters for them. So if we can't use smart meters for them, we'll be able to measure accurately what this person consumes and this person doesn't consume, right? And also to avoid theft and a lot of things. So imagine you're building, in fact, as we speak, we don't really have an indigenous company that does this. Most of these smart meters, we import them from China, or we had to partner with German suppliers and all. Like last week, I was speaking with some of them, right? Imagine you're able to look into this. And this is not really rocket science. This is just someone that can sit down, design it, an algorithm that then help you manage theft in electrical systems, right? Manage energy, manage usage. You don't need to build the structure. You don't need to build the hardware. It's no problem. Just know how to code line it. Maybe you write in C++, C# or whatever, and design the algorithm. Then we have someone that can design the structure. There are people that do the hardware, right? And that's how industries come together. If you go to China, for instance, if you buy an inverter from China, do you know that that inverter has made money for like 20 companies at once? The way China operates is that they don't, a single company don't manufacture a full system, right? They buy it from a sister company, buy this one, and there is one that assemble. And that's how they work. So it means that some Chinese companies that don't really need to do advertisement on social media about what they sell. Their job is to supply. They're just like subcontractors or sub-companies that supply these companies and stuff like that. So I got to know this when I worked with some Chinese manufacturers, and I got to realize that they have partners Their partners have partners, you know, and that's how the whole thing works. So can we begin to see and explore this kind of spaces where you don't necessarily need to do everything. Just focus on one important part that is actually a problem for people that are actually trying to manufacture. Like now, we manufacture some of our products, we build some of our products, but we need to buy some of these core components and we import them. But these things shouldn't be, right? So we can begin to look into that. Now AI is here for us. It can also increase our speed in deployment and designing and all. IoT, if you're also in IoT, you're interested in IoT, it also helps you. And one beautiful thing about having a background knowledge on designing and coding is if you can know the preliminary coding techniques, you can design anything. You can further learn any kind of language because you have the basic knowledge of how the structure works, right? So begin to look into that. Climate smart agriculture. So agriculture is also a core thing in Nigeria and Africa. Because agriculture has actually been our moat before. We saw oil. We've been exporting palm oil. We export a lot of things, cashew nuts and stuff, and give us a lot of money, increase our GDP. Right now, we're looking at agriculture. And one of the reasons why agriculture is looking unpredictable is because of a lot of environmental hazard that has happened. Right? Before you know it, a kind of irregular rainfall, the weather is bad, your stuff, pests and a lot of things. So agriculture is not something safe and investable for a lot of people again because they are scared. What if? So I'll have to wait for like 7 months before I get my profit. What if on the 6 months something happens and I can't control it and the whole investment goes up, right? Well, now by looking about climate smart agriculture, smart irrigation. Let me tell you a story. 2 years ago, right? I never even had much money like that. So 2 years ago, I invested how much? 120K. I gave a friend, a junior friend then. He said he wanted to go into farming and all. And I said, oh, nice, good. So say what did he need? He did the calculation 120K because he already got the land and stuff on lease. So I was very excited for him, right? I gave 120K. I gave him in tranches like 60K. Then first I saw the second, what he was able to do. Then I gave him the second 60K. And that at the point, he was actually very honest. So that's why I never took it up. He had to come to me and tell me he was complaining about water, that he couldn't get, there was water scarcity or whatever. So then fuel increased in price or something. So he couldn't afford to rent the gen and fuel it again, honestly speaking, to pump water out because it was not raining. So he had to on generator and pump water. And that place was very far. Maybe it was quite close. Would have just like sent an energy system for him to do that. But it was difficult because he couldn't pump water again, right? And the whole investment went off, right? I just didn't sell everything and take. I'm not even because he has also spent a lot of money beyond what I've invested, and he has not seen. You don't see any output. So these are the things that I experienced. That if you come to me and say how to do agriculture, I'll look at you with my 2 eyes, because I've had some experience, even though the money is not big. But if you can bring something that can solve this problem, I'm sure that there are millions of people like me that you've had experiences like this about investing in agriculture and things did not go out well. I can begin to think about smart irrigation. Okay, it's solar powered, so you don't need to buy fuel. In fact, you're not spending any money. You're spending money on is manure. Of course, we now have climate smart manure, right? A friend of mine, Ruth Ade, she got $20,000 recently for one of our projects, right? And what she does is climate. Go to Stratop, yes, climate smart manure and stuff like that from waste products, right? Food. So instead of using the NPK fertilizers and all, you use waste foods and also from restaurant, all this waste food and everything. And she's solving a green tech problem. It's a big problem because this food will have gone to waste and will have cost CH3 or that's methane gas, and to have depleted the ozone layer by 23 times, right? So that's a very huge problem she's solving. So imagine she's bringing that solution. It's cheaper than NPK, has more durability, stays longer in the soil, and does a lot of things. That person comes with climate smart irrigation. And which other thing? IoT is monitoring what is happening in your field. You're able to monitor and everything. People begin to invest in agriculture again, right? And you begin to see that the economy grows big. So these are interconnected fields when it can work. Carbon capture is another thing. Last year, I was opportunity to train some staff from NNPC, some executives. I think they're having an upskilling program. So I was invited to train them on energy transition in Port Harcourt, right? And one of them were asking me questions about carbon capture and how we can help them design a technology that can help them measure what's carbon capture. So when they flare gas, they want to really know what's actually flaring. and what they're actually saving. So they want to be able to measure that stuff and all. So imagine you can build a technology as such, and just try to sell to all these oil and gas firms. They would embrace it. They have the money literally, So, and you're good. Or you can even decide to, it's also a job opportunity for you. Imagine you've been researching into this sector, you're good at that, and they invited you for an interview, and you speak about something like this, honestly speaking, because they know that this is a task they've given the whole team. We'll hire you immediately because this guy has something different than just coming for a job. That happened to my friend. My friend went for an interview one time, and because of a design he was doing, he had been working on that design for quite a while. He did not prepare for the interview. I mean, in terms of dressing, he's a smart guy, first class graduate, with classmates. He was not properly dressed. From what they said, the feedback was bad on his dressing. Nerds don't really know how to appear. So, but he just thought of bringing a particular drawing and working he has done before, just in case if this would appeal. And he looked at it and said, "Are you sure this is yours? Are you sure?" And it began, so the orientation about him began to change. So, okay, this guy maybe not just dressed properly because this is how he is, but he has something we need. He has something to offer. That's how he passed the interview, right? So these are little things you can begin to look at and add to your portfolio of knowledge, add to your brain capacity. And when you're interviewed for something, you can also chip in this, and the viewers like listening to new ideas. Waste to energy or biomass and stuff, biofuel and stuff like that. So we have a lot of waste generated every single day. If you don't eat in a day, you'll be very hungry, right? Highest 1 week you must eat. So the more we eat, the more we generate waste, and we need to use that waste for something important. We need to generate it for to generate energy, right? So how do you generate energy? Can you to create butane? Is it butane or methane gas now? And burn them so it can be turned to fuel, clean fuel, and you can actually turn it to clean cooking. You get. We have during my NYC, I was doing a research on how to convert dung from toilets and waste to clean energy for a community where I served. But it was quite cumbersome and tasking. I couldn't juggle it with my activities and all. But it's something I'm quite very interested in, right? Imagine I saw someone who had knowledge about this and he has done this kind of, what do you call it, biomass or biofuel, something from waste, and it's converting it to energy, maybe clean gas, and it's turning it to a cooking, this cooking gas and stuff. And people can actually cook with waste from the dungs and all. That's a very huge opportunity because cooking is a major thing. A lot of people, they have food in their farms, but the issue is processing that food, right? If they don't process that food, they'll have to maybe burn firewood, go and cut firewood in the farms. But there are times where there are no firewood, or it rains, or something of that nature, right? And they're cutting down firewood, they're actually depleting the atmosphere. So imagine you are creating a clean cooking solution for them, right? Where from the waste they have in the toilets, they can actually generate energy to cook their food. That means you're helping them what? We are reducing the impact on cutting down trees. And you can use that as a metric to get carbon credits. So just insight and secrets that it's not a popular opinion now, but this is something that if you came early enough, you'll be able to benefit from the policy the government is trying to bring up very soon. So we have cold rooms, of course, cold rooms. A friend of mine, Ikotutu, if you heard of Ikotutu, they're in Lagos. They set up cold rooms in markets, and it's solar-powered cold rooms where people can actually increase the shelf life of their farm produce or something to make they finish selling the market. Some of them might not sell the whole of their produce, right? They can store it for a little amount of money, and the next day they sell the remaining. That's why a lot of persons actually sell things for less the price because they don't want to go back home and it gets spoiled, right? We can help people save money with this. And this is a very strong story you can tell to impact investors. They'll be like, wow, you're doing an amazing thing, and fund you for that, right? So we need to look at that. Mesh grids. Mesh grids is also something we are exploring as a company. We want to be able to see how all the solar installations that are in a particular place can communicate with each other so that people can easily share power. You can sell power to your neighbor, right? And stuff like that. But that's an interesting field. You can also try to explore that. Okay, I'll need to be moving fast now so that get to the end very soon. So I'll wait for a question. So opportunities are on that, as I've mentioned, solar cooking, clean cooking, microgrids, local innovation. Like for microgrids, every single year we need about 4,000 microgrids. So mini grids. So if and we are barely scratching 10 per year. 10, don't go up to 10 in a year. You know that's far behind. So look into that. All right. So Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa are one of the major hubs where these opportunities are there. I'm sure you can see South Africa has energy. South Africa, no. I have a lot of South African friends. Of course, they want to talk good about their country outside, but deep down, they're doing a lot of load shedding. They don't have electricity. But let me not. I hope. I don't know if this video gets them, but of course they need help. I'm sure. So if you have a solution for them, they want to adopt it. Yeah, skill in demand. So if you're a technical skill, you can begin to learn solar installation, solar stuff, whatever, right? Or begin to understand software, energy software. Can you design a software that will help people do solar audits? That's a project you can do, right? I'm sure during your ODP program, you can try to come together. Okay, can we do a software? People need these solutions. You're actually solving real-time solutions because this is a demand, right? And you can start a business around it, a B2B business, and you understand the business models, and you can actually delve into that. So non-technical skills like sales. I think two days ago we had two people that wanted to hire, and we're asking them what skills they have. Honestly speaking, I was disappointed, but we decided to just, okay, let's work in sales. At the end of the day, we just had to put them in sales. And we have to train them on that sales too, because if you want to do sales, you need to have a background understanding on how to convince people, right? On what people need, because sales is not really about the features of the product. It's about the benefits it gives to them. So you need to understand sales in this sector, you can be hired. You don't need to know how to install the whole thing, but if you can show us that you can sell these products, parameters people need. Oh, you don't have enough, you don't have 10 million naira to do solar installation, but you can spend this amount of money. A lot of persons are looking for, okay, I don't have much money, but I don't want to do the wrong solar installation. I just want to do a kind of middle range one. You can easily communicate that to them. You're good, you're needed in the industry. Okay. Prayer management, very key and important, right? You learn prayer management where you want to do like solar microgrids. Like I want to do a solar plant. Solar plant installation is not something of a month. It can take like 3 months. Can you manage the whole thing? Can you manage the whole process? Speak to stakeholders, speak to this and that, the whole process. If you are good at prayer management, the huge opportunity for you, and the industry is waiting for you. So companies like Energy just raised about $80 million recently. But they do mini grid and microgrid projects, and you can apply to them. If you're good at program management to collect, they would accept you quickly. Sales, they're looking for every company is looking for sales, so that one is a no-brainer, right? GV, Global Electricity, they are big companies, Just mentioning some companies that actually are looking for skill sets that they don't need to start afresh from training you. Imagine you're applying for a job and the employer looks at you and they see that you have some skill set that you save them a lot of money if they employ you. They will employ you. That is the secret of employment, honestly speaking. It's not really about people that are not employment. Are you employable? That's the question. Have you gone extra mile to look for problems these people are looking to solve? Have you tried, even though you've not actually approved, but you are communicating value? They would employ you because they know that, okay, let me just give them 3 months probation. They'll be able to catch up and get these things done. All right, ESG, that's is a sector. I know that Trump and Americans are trying to do something related to trying to abolish some of their ESG and stuff like that, but it's still a major thing in the whole world, right? The policies are there. So read about ESG policies and see how you can play. You can be a policymaker, you can be an advocate, right? Go for United Nations meetings, and maybe travel around the world. It's a beautiful thing, right? You might not make a lot of money, but you will have exposure. And so you read about that, you get it. Training and certification, you can decide to train people. If you have a skill, you can train and make your money off it. But of course, you want to actually practice more than just training. It's very important. So getting involved. Okay, we are approaching the end. This is likely the end of the last slide, or second to last. But how do you get involved, right? So of course, solar academies are there. Company, we have training programs for you. You can decide to come as an apprentice or decide to work to have openings, or you volunteer thereabouts. So, but at the end of the day, you learn, right? We have programs, Solar Sisters, Donors for Africa. We have a lot of NGOs that can actually absorb people and you can learn along the way. Let me tell you a secret about getting it by in life. Honestly speaking, somebody must use you. All right. If you say nobody must use me, I have substance. everything, you must pay me for everything. You will not grow, honestly speaking. You have to allow somebody to use you, right? At the early stage. Do you know why? You want to use that you want to gain traction. You can't gain traction by just saying, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. A lot of people call me and say, please connect me to somebody that can help me do this. I have this skill, I need a job. I say, okay, have you tried working for free somewhere? Have you just tried building your relationship capital? It's very important. All right. So you can apply for these programs and they may say they're not accepting you. Tell them I want to work for free. Yes. Even if it's 3 months, 4 months, I will honestly tell you that you would have insight that money can't pay, right? So because most people, when they go for stuff like this and they go for money, they will be focusing on the money. They will leave that skill or that experience they need to get. Begin to see how you can volunteer for a lot of things, NGOs and programs, and just be part of it. Bring ideas to them, right? If they want to implement a project, do it for them. There is no how. Eventually, they will pay you or something. There will be a way to pay you. They might even give you the recommendation that you might not be able to buy. Okay, so I'm just giving you this insight because this is how I was able to grow. There's some things you don't need to make money off. It's just the relationship you need. If you get a relationship, just a word from them is enough, right? And I'm sure a lot of us here, many of us here that are listening are not up to, we are still young, average, you are not up to 50 or 60 or something. But even at that point, right, you still need people to speak for you, to push you, right? You can't really, you are not everywhere at every time. So all these programs are there. There are a lot of them. I'll still mention. We have this program, RETI programs, where they do solar trainings. Everything is still solar trainings anyway. But you might not necessarily get into the solar trainings because some of them, they might actually request you to pay. So if you don't have some good money to pay, you can opt to work for them for free. Now, those are models we use for some persons. Like there are some students that don't have much money and I want to learn solar installation. So, okay, you can't pay this amount of money. Okay, we can have this arrangement. You work for us for 6 months or whatever number of months for free, and we give you in return. And this is equivalent to the amount of money. And some of them get hired at the end of the day. That's how life works. So it's just how. So join incubator. So you want to start. Now, the first one is for if you want to build your career, you want to work for a company, right? The second one is if you want to start a business. Now, business is not for everyone, honestly. Yeah, you see all this beautiful thing on social media. I remember when I wanted to start a business, I went to YouTube, how to be a CEO. That was the wrong question. Most of us ask the wrong questions to Google. Then, many years ago, I said, how to be a CEO. I thought CEO is just equivalent to business. I see people driving flash cars. Now, nice to be a CEO. Until I started, right? I remember when I was in one of the incubation program in Local Institute then, and they asked us to go and do market validation. I'm like, wait, is this how the car comes, right? I have to go to the market, ask questions, ask people if they actually have these problems, right? So what I'm trying to say is that these incubators will help you. It gives you the spring up to get into starting a business. So you can't just sit down and start a business in the comfort of your home. We need to attend these programs. Go to CC Hub if you're in Lagos. In fact, CC Hub has created most of the new unicorns, most of the big tech entrepreneurs you've seen. They came up from this program. All On Hub is there. Of course, All On Hub is not directly accepting people, but they partner with organizations. And through those organizations like Cleantech Innovation Hub, IG Hub, what have you, you can work with them. NCIC too. NCIC also, they do programs that you can join. I'm sure applications like this come online. So I'm sure many of us are aware that applications don't knock on your door. You knock on their doors, right? So what it means, you go to where these opportunities are. Go online, go to opportunitiesglobal.net, you look for the latest applications or opportunities there. Go to opportunitydesk.org, look for opportunities there. Go to Youth for Opportunities, go to grants for NGOs. You get my point? There are a lot of websites that you just go online. I do that, many times, right? So just check, okay, are there opportunities I have not seen? Any closed deadlines? Those are how you get opportunities. They will not just come and knock on your door. Apply for grants. Of course, before you apply for grants, you need to go through these incubators. So you know how to apply. You can't just sit down and apply without understanding the lingos and how to communicate in language you understand. So apply for grants. All these grants I've been able to get them. Recently we able to we got some a grant for a particular project, and the project is over $100,000, right? But that program took us 2 years for it to get there. we had to follow through due diligence, do a lot of things. And those things, you don't learn them sitting down. You learn them by being part of programs. They teach you how to have your term sheet. They teach you how to set up your data room, your deal room, whatever. So if you want to approach investors, for instance, teach you how to arrange all those things, right? And you can't just understand them by just watching YouTube. You actually have to be part of this program. So apply well, apply for fellowship programs, and you begin to you start having insight to this. And you can also find co-founders in these programs, right? Most of these things we go and attend. It's not really about us. It's not really about what it does for us. It's about the opportunities we begin to see with other people. You can go to a program with a business idea, but you leave that program with another business idea because somebody else maybe has something better and you guys want to work together on that. All right. So that a lot of opportunities that up here. Thank you so much. It's the end of the broadcast. Now wait your questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Gift. That was a lot. That was a lot. And I am so eager to hear from people what they got from the session, or if you have questions, because I hear that you gave tips on where to get opportunities, the kind of opportunities that are even available in the green tech sector are limitless, really. Like you can just really think of it and you don't have, it doesn't even have to be in your city. It doesn't have to be where you're familiar because there's so many communities that are in need and can benefit from your skill. So please, if you have any questions, this is the best time for you to ask. Gift is an expert, permit me to say so, in this space. So, and he's a very busy man. Oh, you can't catch him anywhere else. So this is like a a special opportunity. Ask him any question you have. And if it's just even a comment, something that's stuck out and you just want to comment on during the session, please raise your hand and you would and let me know if you have a comment. I'm looking through. If you have a comment, please raise your hand if you want to speak or you have a question. Okay. All right.
Please unmute everybody at this point, please. All right. Hello, Ayo.
Sorry?
Hello, Ayo.
Yes, okay. Could you take that again?
Ayo, please unmute everyone now at this point, please.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gift. Dear participants, good afternoon. I introduced myself in the chat group and asked everyone please to introduce themselves. Please, we want to know each and every one of you on this program. So please, if you're using the same link with one of my colleagues or Ounene Majebi, please, you need to go to the chat box now and drop your name and from where are you joining in. Are you joining in from Calabar, from Lagos, from Abuja, from wherever? We need to be able to capture everyone that joined in. So on that note, my name is Josephine Efa Chukuma, and I'm the executive chair of ISEF. And it's my pleasure to be here with you all, and especially to be here with Gift. Gift is always a delight to listen to. He's a young man with focus, with a vision, and who acts on everything he says. You know, he walks the talk. I have watched Gift grow. One of the things we try to do on this mentoring program is to bring young people, not old people like me, that it won't be said, that was your time in the 1980s, in the 1970s. These are young people, millennials, young people, Gen Zs, you know, in their 20s, in their early 30s, who have gone through it all and all. So Gift is always a delight to listen to. Started from very modest beginnings. He was a student. I don't know if he said that, or maybe he was economical with some information, you know. He was a student at, where at Futo. when he had his first exposure to tech training and entrepreneurship. And he just grabbed it with his two hands and just kept going until he graduated. And he just kept putting his eyes. It's not, has it been easy for Gift? No. Don't mind the way he just put it as if, I mean, in life, there'll always be challenges. The purpose of this mentoring session is to encourage young people to know that tough times don't last, but tough people do. And that it may look as if you don't have it all now. But if you are focused, if you are consistent, everything will fall into place. And that is the story of Gift Mwanike. He may have just, he's a specialist now. He's a young man now who is considered, but it wasn't always like that. So we are happy. And like my colleague Ayo said, Gift is very busy. It's only someone like me that can track Gift down like this and get him involved in the program, And I appreciate you very much, Gift, for that. Gift, we have a care pack for you. Are you there? Hello, Gift.
All right, it's fine. Yeah,
are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we have a care pack for you. Please have to follow up with Ayo on that. So
okay.
I intentionally and deliberately sat through your presentation because I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And so well done. And I hope, let me stop here so that the young people that have listened to you would ask questions. And let me send this information. We are now, ISF is doing this free of charge, but very soon, these mentoring programs will be paid for. Very soon, because we have to be able to pay Gift for his time. This is the time Gift would have spent in his organization doing something to earn money for himself. Gift, true or false?
True.
Beautiful.
True.
So ISF is bringing this free, but very soon, I can't say how soon, maybe by next month or in 2 months' time or so, it's going to be a paid-for program where you pay to attend this mentoring, because this is knowledge and this is skill for those who are actually interested in learning. You shouldn't go away from this without something to work on or to move on with. Thank you very much, Gift. Let me stop there and allow participants to ask questions.
One questions I'm seeing in the comments, I don't know. You can answer directly from the comments.
Yeah, someone asked, thank you so much. Can you please throw more light on solar irrigation?
Okay, so irrigation generally is just, you need getting water from where the water is sourced from to your farm. So you want to be able to water your plants, make sure your soil is moisturized and all, right? So it's done traditionally by either scooping water from stream, voice, so that's irrigation, right? Or the way they do it now is they own generator, put a pump where the water source is, maybe a river, a stream, and they now will spray the water into the farm. Right now, because of the cost of fuel, it's not sustainable. Imagine buying fuel every single day. So what people do, what we're doing now, or what you can do with solar irrigation is that pump that is being used to get water from the stream into your farm, you make it solarized. What I mean, you modify it in such a way that it can be powered by solar directly. You don't even need a battery, because it's going to be working in the daytime alone. So it's cheap, like it's far cheap than going to bring your generator and all of it. So you just have your pump there, then you have your solar panel that can now pump the water thereabouts. And that's beautiful. So there are different models for that. Perhaps I can connect you to some persons that are trying that out if that interests you. You can decide to pump the water for these people and they pay you subscription maybe every month or something, or you sell the products to them, or you use this pay-as-you-go model and finance the product and they pay, with the years go by. There's even someone in Abuja that does it for a farm in Nasarawa. So what he does is he gives them this pump for free, pumps their water. Then after they made their produce, like their rice, farm, whatever thing they've done, you get a portion of their sale, right? And that's another business model in the impact sector. But you can also explore that, read more about solar irrigation, get more insight on that. Is hydroponics farming? Someone is raising up a hand. I would pick it. Is hydroponic farming green energy in agriculture? Hydroponic farming itself is not really green tech. For aquaponics, it's green tech. Because hydroponics, you're using chemicals a little bit to grow your farm, which is not bad. It's okay. But of course, chemicals, you have to source those chemicals and stuff like that. So the goal of hydroponics farming is literally to have less space and make food produce. So maybe your backyard, you can produce a lot of food and stuff. For aquaponics, which are using fish wastewater to grow your plants and everything, what it means is that the wastewater from fish, the methane from that place is used to grow, because your plant needs protein and it needs nitrogen, and some other nutrient that is found in fish wastewater, right? So you just route it to the plant, and the plant extracts this waste product from it. So you don't need to pour away your fish wastewater, you just use plants and all. So that's I've done it one time, right? And so it works. So it's something you can explore. It's capital intensive, but if you're able to pull enough funds, you can pull it through. And of course, that's green tech itself. So Precious has a question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Keith, for this time. I really want to appreciate you for your time. I think you've answered some part of my question. I intend going into aquaponics, that's integrated farming, and I don't know if you can throw more light on that, and if there could be a way I can get mentorship on that, on how to go into about aquaponics. So thank you very much.
Okay. So that is a field, you need a field expert. So my experience with that is because I was trying to try out the business side of it, right? So I'm not into agriculture at the moment, but I can just give you insight based on the experience I've had, right? So like 4 years ago, setting up a basic greenhouse aquaponics will cost like 2 million. Right now, maybe around 5-6 million, right? It's not that huge, right? But if you're starting out, you want to start small, you understand? So you can actually you can decide to partner with institutions that have some of these laboratories and stuff, and try out your tests. Like begin to try out some things. Which plants do you want to grow? Carrots? Do you want to grow onions? I was able to grow carrots, onions, and some other stuff to try it out. But wherever you live, you need to be able to be sure that this is a demand. This is produce demand. You guys. So you cannot say how to just grow anything. You want to grow some specific fruits that will actually generate funds for you and money, and it's actually commercially viable. So when you know those things, you can partner with institutions of research. There's a company in Abuja. In fact, I gave them a call. That's one thing about being ruthless, right? When I was doing that project, I called everybody I could call. And I was calling them on phone. I was never sending just emails. The reason is because we were trained that whatever you need, you look for it. Highest will tell you no, right? So call some laboratories. There are some institutions or schools, universities that have laboratories like this. They're not using it for anything. But because you're interested in this is what is in their school. You can try to partner with them and work with them. They'll do it for free because schools are not really interested in making more money from you. And when you confirm your tests that this actually works, then you can now begin to raise grants. Perhaps I can reach me. I can tell you, give you some resources on how to raise grants for that. But you need to have what you call proof of concept. You need to have your MVP first before someone gives you money to set up a full system. For hydroponics, you can check. There's a guy in Alta. He calls himself the wizard farmer. Samson Obole. He does hydroponics anyway. You can actually apply for his program. I can send a link to you, but it's not aquaponics, it's hydroponics. But you can use that as a stepping stone to go into aquaponics, right? I think that's little I can say about that.
No, stop.
Ayo, where are you? Ayo, where are you?
I'm right here.
Yeah,
So
then they
thank
said
you.
he finished.
I see. Sorry, ma'am.
Ayo, gift finished and there was a gap. We're waiting for you to say something.
Yes, I was. So
Right.
some people were asking questions, and I wanted to check the comments if there is another, but there isn't. So for lack of questions, we've already overshot our time. If you do not have questions or comments, we have come to the end of today's mentoring session. So like I said earlier, this is streamed. If you want to catch up on what Gift has shared today, because I know that you probably didn't take a pen and paper, even though he advised you to do that. So if you want to catch up on that, we would send you a follow-up mail after this, and an appreciation mail rather, and you would get a link to the YouTube video. So thank you everyone for your time, and most especially Gift. Thank you very kindly for making this session. We're very appreciative of the fact that you show up when we reach out to you, and for sharing your experiences and a lot of tips with people to benefit from. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I would, as we wrap up, I would like for us to take a group photograph. So if you do not mind, kindly turn on your camera, your video, turn on your videos, and let's just get a snapshot together. Okay, can just do that very quickly. Okay. Great, lovely. Good to see your faces. Okay. I'm still waiting for more people to turn on their camera. Okay. Okay, I'm taking one shot, but I don't have some of you in the camera. Like, are you going to be pleased that you're not here? So if you want to do that in a minute, please. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, beautiful faces. Okay, so thank you. I've taken a very beautiful photograph. Thank you very much, everyone. Do have a fantastic Friday and enjoy the weekend. Bye. Olayemi, Precious, Ounene, plenty of Ounenes. So everybody, I didn't catch all the names in the comment. Bye, Angela.
Bye.
Bye. Mrs. Sini, you're also Ounene.
Yes, sir.
All right. Magdalene, thank you to all the Ounenes. Thank you, Edem. Thank you.